Welcome back, y'all. Today we're going to be picking every single game for the Chicago Bears. We've covered every AFC team and the other three teams in the NFC North so far. So the Bears, they get Ben Johnson, pick him up as the head coach this year. The very highly sought after offensive coordinator from Detroit, who kind of led that offense to be as prolific as it was the last couple years up there in Detroit. So a big deal for Chicago, as they really do hope he pans out as head coach. Sometimes moves like that can be huge and they end up being incredibly successful. And sometimes the coordinator to head coach transition does not work out. So it's hard to say exactly for sure what's going to happen there, but we'll get into the picks for this week one. I love this spot for the Bears. I think this is a great spot to get this game. They're at home against what is essentially a rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, his first game. The Vikings are an incredibly talented team, and later in the season, this game could be trouble. It's going to be trouble in week one. This is going to be a great, tight game. But Minnesota playing their first game, J.J. McCarthy's first game on the road, hostile environment, Monday Night Football. Crowd should be going at Soldier Field. I think this is a really tough spot for the Vikings to open up the season. And I will go ahead and take the Bears to start off 1-0 on the season. Then week two, they travel to Detroit, where some clock management issues cost them a win on Thanksgiving this past season. Or I can't say it cost them a win, it cost them a chance at winning is a better way to put it. And I think this will be a close game again. But ultimately, I do have the Lions coming out on top in this one, but that's definitely one the Bears are capable of winning. Week three, then, Dallas travels to Chicago. That's one of those 4:25 Eastern, 3:25 Central games on Fox. And this will be a fun one. Early in the season, these two teams have hope. They're two fairly good national fan bases, which sometimes can be fun. Because you get just a lot of people fired up about the games. I think this will be a good one, and I do think Chicago gets them being at home here. I think Dallas is just such a question mark this year. I'm not quite sure how to feel about them, so I'm going to take Chicago in that one. Week four, they're on the road in Vegas. This is one I flip-flopped on. I could very easily see the Bears winning this one, but I do think Vegas improved a lot. I had them going 6-11, but that's just the state of the NFL nowadays. I touched on it in another video talking about how your team isn't as good as you think they are. It's nowadays very good teams end up still having bad records because the level of talent in the NFL nowadays is so insane that, back in the day, there was the bad teams were bad. That's just not the case anymore. So I'll quit on that tangent, but I'm just saying the Raiders will be below average compared to the league, but they're still a solid team, not to be taken lightly when visiting Vegas. So I'll take the Raiders to win that one. Week five, an early bye week. Unfortunate placement of that bye. You hate to have it this early, but, it's just someone has to have it, and it's kind of a rotation. So week six, then, they're on the road in Washington. Last year, we all remember what happened there, the Hail Mary that cost the Bears the game. And really, their season fell apart after that. They lost several straight games. They were 4-2 at the point. One just play away. All you had to do was stop a Hail Mary, and they would have been 5-2. So wow, that was really a turning point in the wrong direction of their season. This is a Monday Night Football game, and I think this is going to be a tight one. What people do forget when you think back to that game, Chicago had it won. They had kind of beaten Washington in that game. The Hail Mary happened, they lost, but for all intents and purposes, they kind of won that game. So this isn't one that I look at the schedule and I'm like, okay, Washington, who has a lot of hype this year, is definitely going to win it, and I'm just going to take them blindly. However, that being said, I will still take them, but it's definitely not a gimme game. That is not, I think Commanders fans will look at that. Other NFL fans, a lot of people are hyping up Washington a bit too much. they might look at this one and just think, Washington's got it. But while I do agree if I have to pick one, I think this is going to be a very close, very entertaining Monday Night Football game. I'm excited for that one. Week 7, home against the Saints. Saints are bad this year. They're going to beat some teams. I don't think they're bad enough to go 0-17, but I don't think this is one of those. Week 8 and 9, brutal back-to-back here. Week 8 on the road in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson slaughters NFC teams. On top of that, this Bears team just isn't quite up to that level yet. That's a loss. And Week 9, this is one they could steal. Cincinnati, the weak defense, but Cincinnati's offense is so prolific. They're honestly still a very good team. They're top 10 in Super Bowl odds. They deserve to be there. I'm going to take the Bengals in this one as well. So I touched on another video, the brutal schedule for the NFC North this year. All the teams have dealt with it to slightly varying degrees, but your own division is incredibly tough. You beat up on yourself, so that's tough enough. And then they have to play the AFC North, where you got the Ravens, Bengals, Steelers all in there. Those are tough games. So just tough schedules this year for the NFC North, which will maybe have their records being a bit lower than the quality of teams they are, but we'll see. Week 10, home against the Giants. Similar to the Saints, Giants are definitely better than the Saints. They're going to get a few wins this year, but this is just not one of those that I see. It's definitely possible to spot Giants could get one, but I have the Bears taking that one in Week 10. Week 11, they visit the Vikings. By this point, McCarthy should be well established in that offense in the season, and unless he turns out to just truly be bad, which is possible, you never know with rookies. But I do have the Vikings winning this. I think they're a very good team, and I think they take care of business there. Then Week 12, you have Aaron Rodgers coming in to Soldier Field once again. He says he owns the Bears. We will see. I think this is a fun one. And I do actually have Chicago winning this. I'm not sure exactly what to expect from the Steelers this year. I think they should be solid. They should be above average. But on the road in Chicago is going to be tough this year. I don't think that's a place you can go in and just expect to rack up wins anymore. I think the Chicago team should be respectable for sure. Then a tough back-to-back here as you're on the road in Philly and Green Bay. Week 13 in Philly, similar to the how I feel about the Ravens. This one's the Black Friday game, I believe. They're just not quite up to this level yet. Bears are good enough that, any team in the NFL, you can sneak out a win and, it's possible, but I don't have it in this scenario. I will take the Eagles. And then Week 14, another one they definitely could win on the road in Lambeau. I know they won there last year, but I believe Green Bay was resting their starters last week of the season. Should be a great game. I do, however, have the Packers winning it and dropping the Bears down to 5-8. So they're kind of in this spot now where they have to win out to make the playoffs. And I think it starts well with a win in Week 15. I think they handle the Browns and move to 6-8. Week 16, this is a big game. It's going to be a big game, and I think this is one of those that it's on a Saturday. Actually, it's a Saturday game on Fox, so that's fun. Will be a standalone window, national television, and I think Chicago comes out with a win. Like I said in my other NFC North videos, I think this division is going to cannibalize itself a little bit. Then Week 17, big one here, Sunday Night Football on the road in San Francisco. The Niners, a team I haven't had to talk about too much, having only done the AFC. They're a team that, man, it's tough to say. By this point in the year, can you promise me they're healthy? Because I don't think you can. You definitely can't promise me they're healthy. They're one of the most injury-prone teams I've ever seen. And on top of that, they regardless of health, they did downgrade. They're still one of the better teams in the league, but they definitely downgraded. And I think this is a spot I have an upset pick. Give me Chicago on the road in San Fran to keep their season alive. And then Week 18, home against the Lions. I do think the Lions will be playing for something in this game, so I do expect the Lions starters to be in. And, boy, this will be a fun one. Jared Goff does not do that well in cold weather. That doesn't mean he can't win. That doesn't mean he hasn't won some cold weather games. But there are often times he struggles in cold weather. I think back now, he was very, very young at this point, but a Sunday Night Football game, we're going back 2018 now, this long time ago, but that Rams offense, the best in the league, fell apart in Chicago in the cold weather there, and he's definitely grown since then. Goff has, but I mean, he's played in nothing but domes since then, so I can't say he's grown as a cold weather quarterback. So I can't say I trust them there. I think the Bears have a really good team, and they gave Detroit a run for their money last season, so I will take the Bears at home to win and close out with a record above 500. It's been a few years since they were able to do that. I believe the Mitch Trubisky era. So 9-8, I think you'd be lying if you said this was not a major success if you're a Bears fan. If you're expecting too much more than this, I think you got to be a little cautious, because this would be a massive success for Chicago if they're able to get a winning record. And this 9-8 record, this is one of those that might get you into the playoffs. It's a record where tiebreakers probably come into account. So we'll have to check and see how that plays out. So maybe playoffs. If you go 9-8, the playoffs are definitely a possibility for you. So that's my prediction for the Bears. We have the NFC South coming up next. Bucks, Falcons, divisional race, Panthers maybe sneaking in there, and then how bad will the Saints be? We're going to cover it all, and the rest of the NFC teams over the next few weeks, as well as doing some other playoff predictions and all that leading up to another NFL season. So let me know what y'all think, and I will see you in the next one.